In this video, I am going to be showing you how to build a competitive Adamancipator list without spending or crafting a single ultra rare. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to play this deck. We're going to have replay at the end. The replay was so fun. This list right here, this full-blown tier 0 list, has a total of 17 ultra rares, main deck and extra deck included, hand traps, extra deck, negates, buster lock, all of it is here, and it is expensive and not all players are going to be able to use this. But if you do want to check this profile out, I have a in-depth profile on this on my channel. I have a card to it up in the top right hand corner, so go check that out. But for the purposes of this video, no ultra rare Adamancipator is so much fun. The deck looks completely different, the extra deck is completely different, but there are no ultra rares in this deck. I will go ahead and be as specific as possible with my thought process on just what this deck can do, and we'll get into it now. So of course, we're playing 3 of all of the main deck Adamancipator tuners. We're playing 3 of the Researcher, 3 of the Seeker, and of course 3 of the Analyzer. All of them share the same effect where they can special themselves by different conditions. The Researcher, if you control a rock; the Seeker, if you control another Adamancipator besides himself; and then the Cyber Dragon-like effect for the Analyzer if only your opponent controls a monster. Other than that, they all have the same effect where you can excavate 5 cards off the top of your deck, and if you hit a level 4 or lower non-tuner rock monster, you can special summon in that card. So we are playing an absolute fuck ton of these cards. So we are playing 3 Doki Doki, 3 Quackimero Guardian, 3 Prank Kids Roxy's, and then we are playing a couple of the Adamancipator crystals. We are playing the Crystal Raptide and the Crystal Dragite, 2 and 3 respectively. The secondary effect of the Raptide we're not going to worry about too much, but if we summon one of the crystals off of an Adamancipator effect, we can draw a card, which is pretty cool. 3 of the Quackimero Supplier, which when summoned can add a copy of Quackimero Guardian. Quackimero Guardian can tribute itself to negate and destroy a monster effect. Prank Kids Roxy's to go into our Prank Kids lines to link climb, and then of course the Dropsies to supplement that. We're playing 2 of the Gigantus, which is an amazing extender, and I might consider bumping this to 3. This list is very primitive. I put it together just a little bit ago, ran some games with it, and just had a ton of fun. This deck is so much fun, and it's so cheap. No ultra rares whatsoever. So after that, we're playing the Madolche Penningsessor. 2 of these. If there are no monsters in your graveyard, you can special this out, and we use this to go into a Gallant Granite. Easier if we don't open the Block Dragon. And speaking of Block Dragon, this is what makes this deck even playable. If Block Dragon wasn't legal, this deck would be so much worse without it. So Block Dragon, of course, you have to summon it from your hand or graveyard by banishing 3 earth monsters from your hand or graveyard, and then it gives rock monsters you control card effect protection, so they can't be destroyed by anything except for battle. And then if it's sent to the graveyard, the most busted effect, you can add up to 3 rock monsters from your deck to your hand whose total levels equal 8. Typically, Analyzer, Seeker, and Researcher add up to 8, or you can grab a Gigantus if it's late game Researcher and Seeker. All just depends on what you want to do. We're playing 3 of the Adamancipator signs, which is great. It's not an ultra, but it's just a reborn for rocks, which is awesome. And then if you reborn an Adamancipator off of its effect, you can stack your deck with a rock, which is awesome. And then we're playing 3 of the Adamancipator Resonance. Now, I was trying to figure out some type of secondary interruption that didn't have anything to do with the main deck monsters, and Resonance isn't the worst thing to note. If you have any suggestions for what this could be replaced with, or what you yourself have suggestions for what you would want to play instead of this, let me know. But it's a counter trap card, which is good because they won't be able to respond to it unless they have a Solemn Judgment or something like that. But when a monster effect is activated while you control an Adamancipator Synchro monster, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So this is the main deck. No ultras spent whatsoever. It's so much fun, and this list was well, yeah, like I said, really fun to play with. We'll get into the extra deck now. 1 Herald of the Arclight. This is going to be standard for you to end if you're going first. 1 Goyo Guardian. While I was searching through the card database, I couldn't really find anything that was like super interesting or fun or really powerful. All of the good like level 8 synchros that either negate or bounce are ultras, so kind of had to improvise when it came to this list. But we are playing 1 Goyo Guardian, and you know, just the Omega, just good old card. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sent it to the graveyard, you can special summon that monster to your field in defense position. So steal some cards, you know, it's all good. So next we're playing 1 of the Adamancipator Risen Leonites and 2 of the Adamancipator Risen Raptites. You can play both of them, have the same, you can excavate the top 5 cards. Leonite is if you hit an Adamancipator card, you can add it to your hand, and then the Raptite is the extender. If you, it has a similar effect to the main deck tuners, but it is if you hit any rock, then you can special summon it, even if it is a tuner. So if you wanted to play Nibiru in here, I made this joke in the main profile, but if you wanted to play Nibiru, then you could summon it if you wanted to. As for late game stuff, Scarlight, Red Dragon Archfiend, so good. In the replay that you're going to see here pretty soon, it basically won us the game, more so. But yeah, it's such a good card, and the big boss monsters that we're able to make with this deck, they're not the best. They're absolutely not the best, but it's cards like this that make the deck so much fun. So of course, once per turn, you can destroy as many special summon effect monsters on the field as possible with attack less than or equal to this card. So anything with 2500 or less defense are destroyed, and then you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each destroyed monster. So super late games, with as much as you're able to spam out with this deck, you'll be able to do a ton of damage to your opponent. After that, number 41, Baguska. Again, it's just this deck is kind of starved for you know, anything that any like good boss monsters late game. So if you need to stall out so you can get your resources back, because this deck can brick if you don't open any extenders, this will just let you stall. If it's in defense, then any monster on the field is changed to defense and cannot activate their effects. Well, they can activate their effects, they'll just be negated. So this will just be what you'll use if you need to stall, or a pseudo floodgate for your opponent for 2 turns, because during your standby phase you have to detach a material or the card is destroyed. So after that, we are playing 2 of the Gallant Granite. If you don't open Block Dragon, if you don't open this dude right here, you have to make Gallant Granite. This deck cannot function without Block Dragon, so you absolutely need to do that. We are using our the Prank Kids Meow Meow and the Prank Kids Doodle Doo to go into our link climbing plays to either go into a Berserker or a Topologic Bomber Dragon, but we were playing a Pseudo Nightmare package. We can't play the Unicorn, unfortunately, because that is an ultra rare, but we are playing the Nightmare Cerberus and the Nightmare Phoenix. If either one of them are link summoned, you can discard a card and destroy a monster in the main monster zone or a spell and trap that your opponent controls. Like I was saying earlier, we are playing 1 of the Berserker of the Tenny. It's just a generic big body that you can get onto the field, or if you want to link climb into the main boss, the Topologic Bomber Dragon. All of the good topologic stuff is ultras, so I really had to improvise with this deck, and it is a lot of fun, guys. It is so much fun, this deck. So 2 effect monsters. If another monster is special summoned to a zone a link monster points to while this monster is on the field, destroy all monsters in the main monster zones. Also, your other monsters cannot attack for the rest of the turn, so you can only attack with Topologic Bomber Dragon the turn that this is activated. And then after damage calculation, if this card attacks an opponent's monster, you can inflict damage equal to that opponent's original attack. So this card, really good for going into late games. As you can see, especially with our big bosses, we kind of rely on burn damage just a little bit with Scarlight and the Topologic Bomber Dragon. But again, let me know if you have any suggestions or things that you would change, especially for when it comes to the big boss monsters, because I personally couldn't find anything. But if you have suggestions for what things could change, for things that could be exchanged, then definitely let me know, because this deck, I've said it a ton of times, but guys, this deck is so much fun. I have so much fun playing with this deck in the short time that I've crafted and played with it. I'll go ahead and get into the replay now, but thank you guys so much. We are gonna go ahead and jump into the replay, and I will see you guys in just a second. Alright, so getting into this replay was so much fun. This deck is so fun. I'm so glad that I was able to get this. But yeah, our opponent is playing Pendulums. Now, they go ahead and normal summon the Skulkerbat Joker, activate or scale up Dragon Pits, and activate the Duelist Alliance. So they're going to go ahead and add the Pendulum Halt. Activate the Pendulum Call, pitching, and then draw, adding a Harmonizing Magician. And I missed what that was, but it's just a bunch of Pendulum plays. No one gives a fuck anyway, except for Triff. Sorry, Triff. They're going to go ahead and Pendulum summon out a couple cards, Aperia and the Harmonizing Magician. Activate the effect of the Aperia and of the Harmonizing Magician. And this resolves. The Harmonizing Magician will summon out the Wisdom Eye Magician, and the Aperia will do some other stuff that no one really cares about. They go into an Enlightenment Paladin, and the effect of the Enlightenment Paladin, add back the Duelist Alliance to hand. Now, I believe that they just go ahead and pass it here. I have no idea what the end board was, or if they just bricked or messed up their combos, but we'll get into what we want to do now. So we go ahead and summon out the Adamancipator Analyzer, excavating the top 5, hit a Dragite, and I believe that's what we go into. No, we go into a Guardian. Yeah, we go into the Dragite to draw a card, and then overlay into a copy of Gallant Granite. Because we did not open up our Block Dragon, we have to do that as soon as possible. So we get out the Block Dragon, normal summon Doki Doki, pitching to go into Roxy's effect, or Roxy's into the Meow Meow. Roxy's effect, banishing card out of hand to draw a card, and then summoning out the Dropsies, link 2 into the Doodle Doo, and then Dropsies effect from graveyard to gain 1,000 life points and go into the Roxy's. Special summon out the Block Dragon, and now we go into the Topologic Bomber Dragon. Now, I could have played this a little bit differently. I was still just kind of wanting to see what the deck could do, so I got out the big boss and I kind of messed myself up zone-wise. But it doesn't even matter, because this deck is so fun that you can do whatever the hell you want with it, and you know, it's just a build-a-board for whatever your opponent has. It's definitely I would assume more so a going second. You can go first with it and set up like a Herald and some other plays, but this deck is very malleable for what your opponent does as well as what you want to do. So getting back into our plays here, we go ahead and go into a Goyo Guardian, and then we could have gone further, but because of the Topologic Bomber Dragon, which does the 25 Raptide, and then the Goyo, just clearing up their board here, setting the Resonance, which is online because we control the Raptide. But yeah, this deck is so fun. It's so much fun. They activate the Duelist Alliance to add the Pendulum Call. Activate the Pendulum Call, discarding, and then they add a bunch of cards. Activate another, add another Harmonizing Magician as well as a Timebreaker Magician. Dragon Pit Magician to destroy our set, and then they Pendulum summon out a couple more cards. Activate the effect of the Off Dragon. I don't know. No one knows. Going into an Electromite, activating the effect of the Electromite. Pendulum Call, or sorry, Pendulum Halt. Activate the effect of the Electromite to go normal summon the White Wing Magician, now going into a Borrelsword Dragon, and this is like, okay, now we can really get things going here. So they activate the effect, changing our Goyo to defense, activating the effect, attacking over our Topologic Bomber Dragon, and then attacking again. Since it's going to be destroyed, we go ahead and just banish the Electromite. And they go ahead and just pass it. So one set and a Borrelsword Dragon. Let's see what we can do against our good Borrelsword Dragon. So we go ahead and summon out the Gigantus, and then summon out a Block Dragon in attack position. Normal summon out the Seeker. Activate the effect of the Seeker. And we hit a Guardian. Yeah, so we summon out the Guardian, and then we synchro into copy of Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. So we activate the effect of the Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend, and they chain the Borrelsword to change our Red Dragon Archfiend to defense position. And then Threatening Roar when we go into the battle phase, which is okay, but we have dealt with the Boral Sword Dragon, which is great. So from here, just to give ourselves, since I know they're going to be summoning a lot, we go ahead and go into a Baguska to just kind of floodgate them out for the remainder of their next turn. So their turn, they draw, they summon into a couple more Pendulum monsters. We have, you know, the effect of Baguska activates. They try to activate the effect. I don't know if they've read Baguska before, but they just go ahead and set another card and pass it back to us. So from here, Baguska detaches for maintenance cost, and then we link into a copy of the Nightmare Phoenix to try to clear up whatever their back row is, and we pitch. And activate the Block Dragon to add even more rocks, but it is another Threatening Roar, so they go ahead and chain the Threatening Roar, so we won't be able to get in for game this turn, unfortunately, or at least that's what I thought. So we're going to summon out the Supplier. Block Dragon will resolve, getting us a even more advantage here. And then from here, what we end up doing, normal summon out Gigantus, and my thought process here was to get as many monsters on the field as possible. So I would activate the Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend, but the Adamancipator Seeker, and we were off by 500, is still here for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why it wasn't destroyed, because it has less than 2,500 defense, so I'm not exactly sure why it didn't. If you know, please let me know, or if I'm just missing something super obvious, then I can just go, yeah, there it is. But from here, we're just trying to set up as much as we can to, for a decent board for our opponent next turn, since they are just going to be in top deck mode. So we go into a Raptide, go into a Doki Doki, and then from there we go into a Herald, so we have an Omni Negate and a DD Crow effect. And then our Raptide is protected from card effect destruction because of the Block Dragon. So they just normal summon out the Performapal the Skullcrobat. We chain the Arclight to negate and destroy that. And then from there, they go ahead and Pendulum summon out the Oath Dragon, and they attempt to add back from hand, but we use the DD Crow effect of Raptide to banish that card from the graveyard. And then from there, they just go battle phase and swing into our Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend, ending the game themselves because they saw the writing on the wall. GG's to our opponent. This game was so much fun, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, suggestions on different things that you would do personally for the deck, then let me know. But this deck is so much fun. I've had so much fun playing with it. Honestly, I've had more fun playing with it than the regular version, the 17 ultra rare version of this deck. So thank you so much for watching. I hope I could have been informative to you. If you're enjoying this deck and you enjoy the no ultra rare deck profiles, let me know what you would like to see next. Hit the subscribe button. I have been Spellslinger, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great night, you guys.